You're surrounded by the incredible process of quantum photosynthesis right now, as it occurs in every plant, from the trees in your backyard to the grass in the park. It's estimated that 100,000 chemical reactions happen in your body every second, but plants are able to harness energy from sunlight at an atomic level, essentially acting as tiny power plants. For example, a single leaf from a spinach plant can produce around 10 micromoles of ATP per second, which is the energy currency of the cell. This process is so efficient that scientists are still trying to fully understand it, but what they do know is that it involves the manipulation of quantum coherence, allowing plants to tap into the energy of sunlight with incredible precision. Surprisingly, research has shown that plants are able to remain in a state of quantum coherence for up to 2 hours, which is much longer than any human-made system. You might be wondering how this applies to you, but the fact is, you're benefiting from quantum photosynthesis every time you take a breath or eat a piece of food, as the oxygen and energy produced by plants are essential to your survival. Think of photosynthesis like a battery, storing energy from sunlight to power life on Earth. You're a part of this process, whether you know it or not. Here's the wild part, it all starts with a single molecule. Chlorophyll, for instance, is the green pigment that plays a crucial role in absorbing sunlight. It's what makes plants like the Amazon rainforest thrive, producing about 20% of the world's oxygen. You might be surprised to learn that phytoplankton, tiny microorganisms in our oceans, are responsible for producing a significant portion of this oxygen, around 50 to 85%. The Great Barrier Reef, home to an incredible array of marine life, is a prime example of how photosynthesis supports entire ecosystems. It's estimated that this reef system alone produces over 1.5 billion kilograms of sugar per year through photosynthesis. Now, here's a surprising fact. Did you know that some species of sea slugs can even steal chloroplasts from the algae they eat, allowing them to photosynthesize like plants? You're connected to all these processes, from the food you eat to the air you breathe. As you go about your day, remember that photosynthesis is working tirelessly behind the scenes, supporting life on Earth in ways both seen and unseen. Meet ATP synthase, the enzyme that generates energy for plants, and it's pretty amazing. You see, this tiny molecule is the key to quantum photosynthesis, a process that's still not fully understood. It's like a rotating motor that produces ATP, the energy currency of the cell. Your body uses a similar mechanism to generate energy, and it's surprisingly efficient. For example, in a single day, a typical cornfield can produce over 30,000 kilograms of ATP through photosynthesis, using energy from the sun. That's a staggering amount of energy, and it's all thanks to ATP synthase. But here's a surprising fact. Did you know that ATP synthase is also found in some bacteria that live in deep-sea vents, where they use chemical energy to generate ATP in the absence of sunlight? It's a remarkable example of how this enzyme has evolved to thrive in extreme environments. As you learn more about ATP synthase, you'll realize just how crucial it is to life on Earth, from the smallest microbe to the mightiest tree. So, the next time you bite into a juicy apple or take a breath of fresh air, remember the tiny molecule that makes it all possible. You won't believe what happens next. Plants can exist in a state of quantum superposition, a phenomenon that's left scientists stunned. This means they can be in two places at once, which sounds like science fiction, but it's real. For instance, researchers have observed that the plant Arabidopsis thaliana can simultaneously absorb and reflect light, with studies showing that up to 70% of its energy is absorbed, while the remaining 30% is reflected. This phenomenon is being studied by scientists like Alexander Fleming, who's made groundbreaking discoveries. But what's even more astonishing is that this ability allows plants to optimize their growth and development. It's a complex process, but essentially, plants can exist in multiple states, allowing them to adapt to their environment in ways that were previously thought to be impossible. Surprisingly, this phenomenon is also observed in the Amazon rainforest, where certain plant species can photosynthesize at night, using the dim moonlight to fuel their growth. You might be wondering how this is possible, and the answer lies in the unique properties of plant cells, which can exist in a state of quantum entanglement, allowing them to communicate with each other in ways that defy classical explanations. Right now, the oxygen you're breathing is a result of quantum photosynthesis. It's happening in the plants around you. This process is what makes life on Earth possible. You're connected to it every time you take a breath. For instance, a single tree can produce enough oxygen for 2 people to breathe for an entire year, as seen with the quaking aspen colony in Utah, which covers over 100 acres and is considered a single living organism. Short and simple, yet incredibly powerful. The intricate dance of particles and energy is the backbone of our ecosystem. You might be surprised to learn that scientists have discovered that plants can even influence the weather, with some studies suggesting that forests can generate up to 30% of their own rainfall through transpiration. This process is a testament to the complex relationships within our environment. As you go about your day, remember that the air you breathe is a direct result of this intricate web of life. The next time you see a plant, consider the vital role it plays in sustaining you, and the fascinating science that makes it all possible. Quantum photosynthesis is a reminder of the magic that surrounds us. Most people think that plants only undergo photosynthesis during the day. But that's not entirely true. You might be surprised to learn that plants can also undergo a process called crassylation acid metabolism. It's like a nighttime photosynthesis. This unique process allows plants like aloe vera and cacti to thrive in hot, dry environments. For example, the prickly pear cactus can store up to 80% of its water in its stems, and then use it to perform crassylation acid metabolism at night, producing enough energy to survive. You can see this in action in the deserts of Arizona, where these cacti are common. But here's what nobody tells you about this process: it's not just limited to plants. Some bacteria and even fungi can undergo crassylation acid metabolism too. In fact, scientists have discovered that certain species of fungi can switch between daytime and nighttime photosynthesis depending on the availability of water. This adaptation is crucial for their survival in environments with limited resources. As you learn more about this process, you'll start to appreciate the intricate and complex ways that plants and other organisms have evolved to thrive in a wide range of environments. In 1953, 2 scientists made a bet that changed everything. They discovered that plants can communicate with each other through a network of fungi. It's like a quantum internet for plants. You might be wondering how this works. Well, it's quite fascinating. For instance, when one plant is attacked by pests, it can release chemical signals into the fungi network, warning nearby plants of the potential threat. This was demonstrated in a study where 55% of tomato plants that were connected to a network of fungi had increased resistance to pests, compared to only 20% of plants that were not connected. This phenomenon is still being studied by scientists today. Interestingly, one of the most surprising aspects of this discovery is that it's not just limited to plants. Fungi have even been found to form connections with the roots of trees, creating a complex network of relationships that can span entire ecosystems. In fact, a single fungus can connect with multiple tree species, like a natural internet hub. You can see this in action in the forests of North America, where the mycorrhizal network connects the roots of Douglas fir and paper birch trees. You'll remember this tomorrow: quantum photosynthesis is the key to life on Earth. But here's the question: what if we could harness this energy for ourselves? What would be the implications for our planet? Think about it. You're basically tapping into the same process that powers the Amazon rainforest, which produces about 20% of the world's oxygen. That's massive. For instance, scientists at MIT have been studying the quantum effects in photosynthesis, and they've found that certain plants can convert sunlight into energy with an efficiency rate of up to 95%. Now, if we could replicate that on a large scale, it would be a game changer. Surprisingly, did you know that some species of bacteria can even photosynthesize in complete darkness, using alternative sources of energy like chemical reactions? It's mind-boggling. You might be wondering how this could work in real-life applications. Well, imagine entire cities powered by quantum photosynthesis-based systems, reducing our reliance on fossil fuels and significantly cutting carbon emissions. It's a tantalizing prospect, and one that could potentially revolutionize the way we live and interact with our environment. The possibilities are endless, and it's exciting to think about what the future might hold.